just said there now, that's part of the issue. Look, it's not a case of they may not, they will not, because the overflow, the ripple effect of what those kids are soaking up is, do you understand what I'm saying? It's going to affect them. So it's not a case of it might, it will. And I think I'm just saying this again from my opinion. I'm not saying this is what should happen. I don't know the rights and rights of my opinion. That in that sort of case, there are a few extenuating circumstances there. For example, you mentioned abuse there. We mentioned physical violence. You understand what I'm saying? There are certain factors in there that can, I would say, cater for, that kind of falling away, that separation. It's not the best, it's not the ideal,
Mhm.
but if we're looking at joy, as we mentioned there, and that overall situation, something has got to give. Something's got to give. That can't just be allowed to continue,
No, no.
forever and a day.
I think
Also,
one.
We mentioned boldness. We mentioned boldness before. We mentioned being able to
Yeah.
stand, being brave. We
yeah,
mentioned being able to stand to face challenges and overcome challenges. And these are the real things. See, these are not just words that have been
Mm,
bandied about. These, in those
it's,
live situations, they're got to be applied.
mm. I
the,
think
Tony,
sorry.
quickly, I just want to quickly
Yeah.
play before. The other thing, this is why when we get married, the people we choose as godparents or as advisors close to that marriage, there should be are people who are wise people who have history or who have a steady home. That when things like this start happening, they are the people you can go to that they know through their wisdom how to address these issues. And also even the parents from both the man and the woman. It's only happened that when we're here in abroad, we must be able to go back. The man could go back to these people and say how it can be settled. And also children can be very manipulative when they want to have things or to do things their own way. If they know the dad is hard, not only hard, but strict, not that he's strict to their detriment, but for their benefit, they go and do things where the mom will support them and they'll try and push the dad out where the dad say it's not hard anymore. They also can be very manipulative because what Hero said there, even they are watching telly, he meets the kids, the dad cannot say anything because then it will just boil up to something else. So it's like a gang up thing against the man, where the wife and the kids, who maybe it's the kids who are manipulating it, they say, Dad doesn't like us. He always said this to us. He always, not knowing that the dad is trying to help them, but they will do things with the mom and said, even encourage mom to do things which are not real, which must not be done. But again, I said the godparents that we choose in our marriages, in our relationship, must be one that have wisdom. If the guy has one, they can let them know. They can come to the house and say they can settle. It can be. That's why our culture also comes in. Not only look at this church thing or this big wedding, white wedding or blue green wedding we're doing.
Okay, I think Yaya mentioned a few things that I was going to mention, which is like, for example, the parents come in at one point, yeah, the relatives come in at another point, yeah, and even if they come in, it's not to really make them live happier ever after. It's really just to sort out the situation so that they can live peacefully, yeah, whether together or separately. Yeah, it's not by force that they need to live together. I mean,
Mm.
to be honest with you, the man doesn't even eat at home, from what I'm hearing. Yeah, so he's not even living at home. So in theory, if he's not eating at home, he's not getting fed at home. So therefore, so what it is for me, I can just give you my humble opinion and what I think. I think there is the situation there which needs to be handled delicately. We have to be delicate with it. What happens is you've got children involved, you've
Yeah.
got the wife involved, you've got the husband involved. Obviously, I'm not saying the husband didn't do anything wrong, because what we're always good at men doing is we did everything right. The wife did. What's happened here is the wife has lost respect for the husband, lost
Yeah.
respect for the husband. So if he's lost respect for the husband, there's something that has happened during
Mm-hmm.
this whole relationship of 16 years, yeah, that has made the loss of respect. Now, she's lost so much respect that now she's willing to hold up a knife and tell him to stay away. Yeah, that's what's happening on that side. But what it is the relatives need to come in, yeah, That even if they have to, even if the husband, even if they can't get the mom and dad to come in, or they need to find the closest relative that can help them at least resolve a situation whereby they can live
Mediation.
separate, they can live
Yeah.
they can live separately or together in harmony, separately or together in harmony. The other thing that just mentioned, like Yaya just reminded me for this whole topic, will the woman let you man up? The other thing that we need to also remember is um, sometimes women or men undermine the partner. So undermining is not letting you man up. So when and then the situation, why it came to light just now is because Yaya said, well, if the children see there's a conflict between parents, then they'll go to the this parent, because this will allow me to go. And then what will happen is the other parent won't have a say in it. They'll say, but I told mum, yeah? And then mum said yes, and that's the authority now, isn't it? Yeah, because that's the way out. So that's undermining. And by undermining, the woman doesn't need to allow you to man up. By undermining you, she's not allowing you to man up. Yeah. So that's what I'll say on that note. So let me pass on. We've got to wrap up soon,
Okay,
because we
I
could go on forever. This one.
Just to feed off, just to feed off what Tony was, just to feed off what Tony was saying there. Sorry, Joe. Just to feed off what Tony was saying there. You know, about the manning up. Look, to some degree, force. I know I didn't like that word last week. I think Greg was using that word of forcefulness. And I'm not talking about physical force. I'm talking about mental force, emotional force, spiritual force. Yeah, something has got to give in the guy at some point. Look, that's a make or break situation there. You know, and look, I often tell my children when those things have happened in the past, or you've seen snippets of it trying to come out, I say, listen, I'm not here to be your friend, I'm your father. So whether you like or you don't like, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes certain statements, certain affirmations, if you like, have to be, you know, sort of put across, you know, just to kind of reaffirm, you know, what your stance, you know, what the stance is. Was it Joe? Was it Joseph trying to come in?
Yeah. What the Bible says about marriage, that the man shall leave the home and cling on to his wife, and they should become as one. The Bible does not agree with separation or divorce in any formal shape. Yeah? So what Jesus Christ says increasing is that, you know, a woman should never separate from her
circumstances where the Bible does allow that.
A woman should never separate or man separate from the wife. They should be together to the end of time. But those who marry, those who pray together, man and wife, stay together. Those who do not, forces the devil to enter their marriage. Yeah? All things are possible, just like man can fly to the moon. So there's no relationship that's not unrepairable. Yeah. It's just a matter of their belief.
Yeah.
Because God was never designed, only man made, for men to separate from his wife. Or the vice versa. Even Jesus Christ says that in Christian, that we should, it doesn't believe in separation or divorce.
You know, Joe,
but it's so easy now, and the government, public government has interfered with marriages. They make it so easy.
I just want to, something just came up on my mind, that when we're talking about this manning up, should woman allow the man to man up? We've been relating it more with Christianity, they'll be looking at the biblical side, and the religion will be looking at Christianity. We could, from the other point, Islam, how common is this happening when a man marries or can marry more than one woman? I don't know how the laws in UK look at.
No, listen, we're treading another road altogether here, because straight away. Yeah, go on, carry on.
Is the allowing for a man to man up? If the one is not allowing it, and the man is considered on the other wife or on the other woman, maybe that could change this.
The man's already manned up. The fact that he's taken more than one, he's already, you know what I mean? He's already asserted himself in a certain way.
So would we say, in a situation where a man can marry more than one woman, manning up is more where the husband can actually have that role of being manning up or being allowed to be man up, rather than the one where it's only 1-to-1.
You know what, this thing, sorry to cut you, this thing of this allowance thing is still bugging me too much. This allowing, it's not sitting right with me. They should, the allowance factor, and that's what I said before, maybe from a cultural or whatever standpoint, this allowing thing shouldn't be in there, because it's just a God-given role.
Yeah, it's
just there. It's just there. And let me just throw this in now for argument's sake. Look, if then the man, for example, the man has not submitted to his maker, hasn't submitted to God, then why should the woman submit to you? If you've not, you understand what I'm saying? If you've not put yourself and said, okay, look, I'm under this banner, I am, I'm under God's remit, I'm following his law and so forth, then why should the woman then submit to you? It can only happen if there's that correlation, if there's a certain pecking order. So as you rightly said there, if we're talking from a Christian perspective, from a biblical perspective, which again is got to be said, because that's the foundation, right? We were created from somewhere. So it's got to be that part of it's got to be injected, if you like, or infused into the rest of society. That, look, sometimes the old ways are good. Sometimes we've got to go back to the old ways, even though society's changing and it's going to continue to change. Some of those old things have still got to be there.
No, marriage can only work on from the old ways. In the new ways, marriage cannot work. No way. It's only on the old ways. I mean, the biblical or the religious way and the cultural way, in terms of respect, it's only on the old ways. With the new ways, it's not work. It will not work.
Yeah. So I think it's again about what Tony mentioned earlier, that look, we've said quite a bit tonight. We want to take it down from a perspective, hopefully, where we can bring in the next generation. You know what I mean? The new gens, Gen Zs, or whatever we call it. Yeah. How does that get projected to them? How are they going to be able to relate to what we're saying? How are they going to apply some of the things that we've said? They're going to make sense to them and allow them to move through, some of the challenges that we mentioned tonight. Because again, we can keep stirring this thing around and round and round. But again, people want to say, okay, what's the solution? And what are the areas then that we can apply, that we can, put into place practically?
Yeah.
So that, and I think that's got to be, a way forward. I think it's an area we've got to really look at. How do we implement things practically? It's good to have the discussion, but I think something's got to come out of it in the sense, okay, a 20-year-old, I don't know, 18-year-old, 20-year-old, just coming out of the block sort of thing, 25, coming out of the block. So, okay, these are the things, these are some of the challenges that are going to be flagged up to me. What do I do? How do I navigate around these things?
Yeah.
Yeah. How do we navigate around them?
Yeah.
So, any offers? Any more offers? I think we've done quite. We've said.
I think somebody's put their hands up.
Okay, so so what I have to say to that effect, is like we mentioned rightly, marriage is an old concept, and it's only the old way it can work. But the truth is that this new generation, they are different. So I think personally that it's high time we started opening this thing up for people to understand that marriage is not a bed of roses. It's actually a call for responsibility. And if you feel like you are not cut out for it, because I don't know how someone who doesn't have a role model, who has not been trained to be a father, is actually entrusted to that role, because they feel like you are old enough, you should have a wife, you have children, then you now raise children that are non-entities around the world because you must get married. You must not get married. You must not have kids. You must not marry. There's nothing that you can be a fulfilled single, right? You
see
don't
what you're saying there, Hero. Sorry to cut you. See what you're saying there. Just throw
It's
this in.
true.
What you're saying there is exactly what's happening a lot in the West, where you have children bringing up children or not bringing up children. Children having children, and there's like you just said, Hero. There's no training. There's no experience. There's no wisdom. And it just keeps going on and on. So here, I think that's a great point there. Yeah. But then how does that get filtered through? How does that get filtered through the ranks, as it were? To kind of diffuse that. How do we emphasize that? That marriage is a covenant, and it is a serious thing. It's a serious situation to be in. It's not a bed of roses, as you rightly said. How do we get that across? I've heard it even from certain churches. I've seen young guys getting married. You know why they're getting married? Because of lust. Because they believe that, if I'm married, I can, you know what I mean? I can go and have sex. I can do what I want. But then they find out after they've done that, and they've been in the marriage for 6 months,
and that's it.
Everything's crumbling.
You've been there. That's it. As it crumbles,
right. Right.
See?
Yeah.
So Hero, yes, carry on, please.
Yeah. So I think that's for children who didn't come out from a good home, who didn't have a role model, there should be a program for them. And that program, if possible, the government should adopt it as a way of rehabilitation and training. Because this thing, it took me 17 years. It took me 17 years to prepare for my marriage. 17 years. 17 years. As a young boy, I saw my auntie that raised me. I saw what marriage should not be. And I said I cannot marry. If this is what marriage is about, the abuse, how you rattle men to, as in these guys, they've been living for years. They don't sleep in one room, and they give up the picture out there that they are Christians, and they have titles in church, and they have to protect it, but they are dying on the inside. The man, it's a crazy thing. It's a crazy experience. So I made up my mind. I'm not going to marry. If this is what marriage is about, I'm not going to marry. So if not that I found a way into books and reading and interacting with people, I won't be this man, because there's no way you expect me not to be the woman, not to intimidate the woman. If that's all I've known, if that's what I've been taught to be an alpha man. Do you understand? Yes, a man should have money, but yes, you shouldn't marry a woman that is higher than your capacity to handle. There's a woman that is reaching your level. Don't say because she's beautiful and she's not your level, she's going to kill you. It's not that the woman is expensive. It's just that you are not up to the standard to manage and maintain her. So you're going to be under intense pressure from day one. So we should come and reflect those hopes and let people know that you can actually be a fulfilled person without getting married. You don't need it. But if you must get married, this is what it's about. So that when the issues comes up, you can be able to handle it. And like someone said, you have someone like role models. I have people I look up to. Nobody can do it alone. You need to have anchors and support systems. This thing must be ingrained. So I have people I go to when my mind is always full, I don't know what to do. I go to them, I talk to them, and they give me perspective because I want to become better. I have people I look up to. But if I have to do it based on what I think in my mind, I'm going to be a bomb going somewhere to explode. So that's for me.
No, thank you. So Heroes, thank you so much. I mean, those are very, very strong and valid and poignant thoughts there. And I think those are the kind of things that we need to hear to be able to project outward. Because look, the bottom line, guys, is that we look as role models, as putting ourselves as positive role models. We, as I said before, we need to be seeing how the next generation through can learn, from whether it be mistakes, experiences, and whatnot, how they can learn so they don't go through the same thing, and also don't then create another generation of, you understand what I'm saying, of demise. and showing that, look, from a man's point of view, that there's, you know, so many factors. We've mentioned quite a few. I think I'm gonna wrap up in a few minutes, but you know, just to get one, if we can just get one-liners from each person now. Look, we've looked at so many areas. We mentioned the three W's. I don't know whether we heard it clearly. The three W's I said earlier on. Worship, as in the presence of of who you're aligned to, in the presence of God, and then, you know, God will then give you your work, which is your purpose, and then when you're in your purpose, you have your woman. Yeah, three W's. Now we looked at, okay, identity. We've said that, you know, men ought to face challenges, which will be able to face challenges, be brave. Um, love a key thought. Someone said, I think it was Joe that said we should be a mystery to our women, and I think that's a very big one again, that we don't have to expose everything emotionally all the time.
Yeah.
Yes, we know that in society at the moment, there's so much influence coming from, you know, from social media that's having an impact not just on our women but on us as well. There's a big undermining factor in that, apart from you know, what the spouses do, but from the social media. You've mentioned some of those programs, all these. You know, there's a lot of. Don't you think these days there's a lot of these virtual programs going on? You know, when they got the camera in the house and showing so many different things. Yeah. And I think I flagged up in a lot of cases. I believe that women actually want us to man up. I believe they like us to.
Oh,
But we're
yeah.
going to take the bull by the horns. Yeah. I think you mentioned yeah, about humility. That it's also a strength. Yeah, humility, being able to own up to our mistakes when we've done wrong, or we've made the wrong call, wrong decision. We've got to man up to it and say, look, you know what, I did wrong there. That was a wrong call, you know, and not try and have this bravado thing, you know, and just press it on because of the ego. Yeah. Resources, yes, we've mentioned that. Feminism, big one. We didn't go into that too deeply, but that's something floating around. I think we need to go into that a bit more at some point. And there's a couple of titles that have flagged up. You know, how do we select a wife? What does it profit a man to be married, if you like? And I think rounding up then, in terms of the younger generation, younger people coming through now, what can they glean from a forum like this? What can they glean from a call like this? What are they going to glean from the suggestions, you know, the experiences, the testimonies, you know, they've heard here tonight? So I'm going to give everyone an opportunity now. Let's hear a one-liner in terms of just rounding this off. This is part one of this particular. Actually, no, we've done man up before, but I'm talking about in this particular aspect there. Let's disallow. We want to disallow this word allow. Okay.
Yeah.
And I think we need to be the, you know, the bold and the brave and the God ordained status that we have. We've got to stand up and man up. So guys, yeah, you want to start off? Just give us a one-liner in terms of the area that we've discussed tonight.
Well, I think going forward, I think we'll look at how the youngsters going to be more happier in their relationship, and they can have the opportunity to man up. I think when they're making a choice, they should have to be very careful. Make sure you involve your parents, older people in your family, and find out more about your partner. Getting married is a different boat than just cutting with someone for a while. No, it's a different thing, and they should be more careful, do the right thing for it to happen. And also, the man, as I said, we should be honest, communicate with our partners. When it's not working, say it's not working. When it's wrong or you've done wrong, accept it. And if you cannot afford, just say this is what, and prepare. The other thing is preparing our partners, both the man and woman, as to oncoming events that could be more not as it was, could be different. Like now, the economy is not going well, and jobs are not that secured. Investments are not going that well. We have to work hard. We have to cut down. We have to do this. But focusing on what you have ahead. If you have children, make sure the children benefit. But for youngsters choosing, please, I would say make a choice that is good. Not just say someone beautiful, eyelashes there, holes, or maybe it's in a club. If it is, choose well, and you'll be happy for long.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you. Francis, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still there, Shola.
Okay.
One sentence. I would say
just the one.
pre-select. Yeah. One line, pre-select.
Okay.
Pre-select the right woman, and there'll be no need for you to man up, yeah? Because she'll understand who's the head of the household, and she'll want to follow your lead. So pre-select the right woman for yourself.
Okay. Brilliant. Okay. Thank you, Francis. Thank you for joining us. So Joseph gone. Joseph.
My one-liner is, if you are looking for a partner that's right for you, you should be a perfect partner that somebody else wants to be with in every way.
Yeah.
Don't expect from other people or women that they should be have all of this, have all of that, but you yourself don't have that. That's my one-liner.
Okay. Good man. Thank you. Thanks for that. Who do we have here next? We've got someone just joined us actually. Sorry, Hero. Let's go to Hero first.
Okay, so my last word will be for young people, because I'm not in a position to advise those who have been there for a long time. So one of the things I've learned as a young guy that is married was I've stopped telling my wife I don't have money. You know, I didn't know I was losing her when I kept telling her that, there's no money, there's no money. Until I learned that I need to man up. I need to give her the feeling that she's safe with me, even when there's no money. She doesn't need to know. So my wife doesn't know when I have money, but her expenses have been met. So for a man, you have to man up in that area too, because you are a provider. Don't let a woman lose trust that you can take care of her. You can make her to start looking elsewhere. So that's my last word.
Yeah. Brilliant. Okay, love that. Thank you, Hero. Thank you very much. Okay, Abiodun. I know I didn't call on you before. You've just joined. Welcome. We're just about to round up, but I don't know whether you've heard the gist of what we've discussed tonight. Would you like to add, please?
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Apologies for coming in. I had something I tried to avoid, so I really apologize for coming in late. I think I grabbed one or two things from this last contribution you are asking for every one of us. I think I agree with my line goes with Mr. Yaya. I think I like what he said. But at the same time, I want to add something to it. I think what's most important as well, like I know you mentioned going the old way. We know they say where there is no rule, there is no offense. Now, the Bible is there as a guardian from the world, and also the Quran. Like me, I always say I'm a Muslim, so I go by the guidance of the Quran. Like saying something about man enough. Yes, Islamically, God has a reason in the Quran that a man is allowed to take more than one wife. God has a reason for saying that, and you cannot override that because he can see, he knows more than we do. If we look at the statistics of the sex in the world today, we have more women than men. And now, what's going to happen to those women who don't have men? That is why we are seeing women trying to take other women's husband. And ladies now, these days you find married women admitting that, okay, yeah, I know my husband cheats, it's okay, as long as he's not bringing her in. But what's going to happen when there's a child involved with the other woman outside? Who is going to take care of that child? Who's going to take responsibility? What's going to happen to that child? But it has been the guidance, our religious books is for the guidance, says he has ordained it. If you can afford to take more than one, please go ahead and do that. Because women are there, men are there to protect the women by God's name. So this thing about especially, I'm sorry, Mr. Shola, I know you guys are in the Western world there, that about women having power, you can't take more than one wife and all that. And we know majority of women are out there unmarried and they want someone, they want a woman, most women want men. But it's just because of the belief, what they have been inculcating in their head, women have a right over men and all that. This is where we're having the issue of man has to man enough. There are things you cannot accept, but you are scared of telling your wife because you don't know what the law is going to do. But yes, we don't face that much here in Africa, especially in Nigeria. Like, say, for example, the people that enjoy their marriage most, they have more peace are the Hausas, the northern part of this country. There are men that have more than 2 wives living in the same house. And yes, because already right from the youth, when the women are going, these have been put into their head that look, it can happen. This is what your culture, is your religion. You have to live by it.
Yeah.
It's an ordained something from God that man is polygamous in nature. He has a right to take more than 1 wife. So if this is being put into their head, even when you try to react, the society will look at you that, hello, what's wrong with you? As a norm. But in the world whereby even when the lady doesn't, she feel like, okay, well, he's a man, he needs to. But we have the people, the society around telling her, no, don't accept that. Don't allow him dictate. Don't allow him overpower. Don't allow him control you. So I think on my own side, it's best we still have to go back to the old ways. I think that will actually help us. If we can pick it from there, that's what is there to guide us. That will go a long way. I think that's my take for now. And once again, I apologize for coming in late tonight.
No.
And I've learned a lot.
Look, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for that input. You've said some great, even though you may have come late, made some great points and allowed us to even look at things from a different perspective again. So thanks for that contribution, Abudu. Thank you. Much appreciated. Tony, last but not least, are you there, sir? Or is he on the move?
Maybe.
I think he's on the move. Yeah, I don't think he's
locked up.
I don't think he's in the range. Yeah. But listen, guys, look, based on everything that's been said, I think we've had a great night, great input, great thoughts, great opinions. We're going to round up. We're going to put a pause on it because we want to. There's so much that we can soak up. Yes, he's here. Come.
Sorry. I just taking my son home from football. So I just said, okay, let me just. So, but anyway, yeah, great show, great input, great one-liners, fantastic. If I was to say a one-liner, invest in your wife, invest in your woman, then you get the respect you deserve. Yeah, because one thing, and the last one-liner I'd say, cut your suit according to your size.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah, thank you. That's it. Lovely, short and sharp and succinct.
Sorry, Tony. The last caller said.
Does the job.
The last caller said, "Marry as many wives as you can, mate."
It's what.
But it's still cutting your coat. You're still cutting according to your size.
Are you agreeing with him?
Is that Vaden? Ask him how. Ask him how many wives he has. How many wives do you have, Vaden?
I have one. I can afford one now, sir.
Exactly. Don't tell us about other wives. You can. In Islam, you can have five wives, isn't it? But you only have one. What's going on? Don't you have a peaceful life?
My grandfather had 10.
That's the one I can afford for now, sir.
Cut your suit according to your size.
Cut your coat.
Cut your coat.
I think mine's gonna be exactly the same as Tony's. Actually, don't go and bite off more than you can chew, right? Because if you do, you'll just find you're yourself bulging, and there's some serious problems there. So listen, guys, look, let's round up. Let's say have a good night, have a good week. The rest of this week. Look forward to Sunday. So, Tony, what time is it again on Sunday? The health.
Is it
Sunday is Sunday is what time is it on there? I think it's 7, or 7 or 8. I can't remember.
I think it's 7 p.m. Yeah, I think it's 7 p.m. UK, 8 p.m. Nigeria.
Yeah. It's important to get as many guys as you can to listen to it, even if they don't come on it, because it's important. Because this is, Joe can just. Do you want to say a few words? Obviously, Joe's lost his brother just recently. We express our deepest condolences.
Thank you very much for your support. I appreciate that. Yeah, life must go on as it must. But I've got to bury my younger brother soon. So that is occupying my entire equilibrium, up and down, one day happy, one day not so happy. So, you know, thank you for your support and I appreciate that, you know. The thing is, you know, what the Sunday's meeting is going to be about men's health, which is a vital component of any man or human being. What we eat, our lifestyle. I lost 2 brothers to a lifestyle. What is the lifestyle, you may ask? The lifestyle is not resting, not eating, not sleeping, does cut your life short. That's a fact. For my older brother, who worked at night time, minicab. My younger brother had his own business, but he never took time to look after himself. And one of the #1 killers in Western world is heart disease. So we need to share those information with one another and how we should proceed and change our lifestyle. Because God can only look after us so much. We have to look after ourselves. What we do, what we eat, and our lifestyle.
Okay.
Thank you, Joe.
All right,
Thank you, Joe. So Joe's
Joe.
just basically, I mean, to be honest with you, obviously, may so rest in peace. You know, he was under 60 years old, which is very, very devastating. And what we want to do is we want to readdress this problem, because at the end of the day, what we need to do, like Joe says, is the lifestyle is affecting us, especially us Black men. Yeah, you know, I sent a video out there. If we look at the pecking order, which is not a good pecking order, white women live the longest on average, followed by it's almost equal between Black women and white men, and then we live, like, I think ours is on average 69 years old, which is terrible. Now we can deal with that on this program, and also we have genetic differences, so our food is going to be different also. So we need to get as many people onto this health call for men, and we're calling out all Black men out there, to come onto this podcast or to listen to it, just to change what we're doing. It's not what you have on the outside, it's what's happening on the inside that's going to make you well and live happy and have a quality of life. So that's it. And
it's gone.
It's gone.
Yeah.
He might have gone. Yeah.
Is it gone?
Connection.
Okay, guys. Look, on that note, what Tony said there, it's not what's on the outside, it's what's on the inside. I think we can round up very aptly on that and say good night. God bless you all. Thank you for your contributions, your input, your realness. And until we meet again, by God's grace, we'll say good night. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
God bless. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you very much.
Good night.